Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today we will be seeing the current affairs for the date of 5th of November. Before we start, please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. And these are the topics for discussion today. The first topic is regarding the nutrition security. So we will see what we mean by nutrition security, the difference between micro and macronutrients. We will see the reasons for the malnourishment and also the government initiatives with regard to tackling the malnutrition in this country. Second topic is the energy efficiency. We will see about energy efficiency and why it is required for decarbonization. And third topic is the paddy. We will see the cropping conditions required. We will also see about the major cropping regions of paddy in India, and we will also see about India's rank in the global world. Fourth topic is regarding the Finance Commission. We will see about it. And the fifth topic is the Prelims Focus. These are the short notes which will be helpful for both prelims as well as mains. Now we'll get into the discussion. In this article, we'll be seeing about the nutrition security. We'll first see its definition. So, nutrition security means ensuring that all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to adequate, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. It goes beyond food security, focusing not just on availability of food but also on its quality and nutrition value. It's a very important point, and it's a distinguishing factor. This is a difference between food security and nutritional security. So this that you can quote it in mains. So we'll see the difference between food security and nutrition security. So food security, the focus is on availability, accessibility, and affordability of food, whereas under nutrition security, focus is on adequate intake of essential nutrients, which includes both macro and micronutrients. We'll see about this macro and micronutrients in the upcoming slides. So the concern here is on quantity of food, that is under the food security, whereas under the nutrition security, the concern is on quality. So the outcome of food security is reduced hunger. So in a way, you can link it with green revolution. The outcome of nutrition security is improved health and productivity. So these are the important points. You can take a note of it, and you can it can be useful if asked in mains. So we'll see about the macronutrients. So they are the nutrients required by the body in large amounts. For example, in grams per day. These include carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. They provide energy and form the building blocks of body tissues. So their deficiency will lead to energy malnutrition. Example, the protein energy malnutrition. Whereas the micronutrients, they are required in small amounts in milligrams or micrograms, but are vital for metabolism, immunity, and disease prevention. These include zinc, iron, vitamin A, vitamin D, etc. And they do not provide energy but are crucial for the body's biochemical functions. Their deficiency will lead to hidden hunger. One of the most important terms, you can even use it as keyword in mains. Please check in detail about it, which includes examples such as anemia, vitamin A deficiency, for example, the night blindness, goiter, etc. So with this also, you can get match the following type questions in prelims. For example, they can one side they can list the types of vitamin deficiency. In another time, they can list the diseases. For example, they will list scurvy, goiter, then very night blindness, and one side they will be matching. You have to match it with the what kind of vitamin deficiency it relates with. So that can be asked in a prelims. So we'll see the status of nutrition in India. Here I have taken the example from the Global Hunger Index of 2025. So in the 2025 report, India ranks 102nd out of the 123 countries with a score of 25.8. That is comes under the serious category. So this data point you can quote it in mains. So we'll see how the GHI score is calculated. So there are important terms also associated with it. So 1/3 of weightage is given to undernourishment. Undernourishment means people having low calorie intake. So 1/6 is given for child stunting. Stunting means children below the age of 5 who have less height for their age. Next 1/6 is given for child wasting. Wasting means children below the age of 5 who have less weight compared to their height. And child mortality, for it's given 1/3 of weightage. It means children below who die before attaining the age of 5. So based on this, based on this weightage, the GHI score is calculated. We'll see the GHI score for the four components of India. So for 12% of population is undernourished, and child mortality is about 3%. In a way, it shows a good sign. Still, we need to progress, but in a way, it's good. And about 33% of children are stunted, and about 19% of children are wasted. This is a very, very serious concern. So the rank India in 2000, it had a score of 38.1. We have improved. Now it is about 25.8. Still, but we need a lot of improvement. There has been improvement, but still we need to work on it. So this is one of the key takeaways from the report. This also you can quote it in as data points in mains. We'll see the causes of malnutrition in India. The first one is a poverty and food insecurity. So when you are people under poverty, they don't have availability, accessibility, and affordability to foods. These three A's, that is availability, affordability, and accessibility, is a generic keywords which you can even quote it for other topics in mains. Next is a poor dietary diversity. For many people in India, the major food grains are wheat and rice. We don't focus much on protein intakes of vitamins and minerals, that is focusing on intake on fruits and vegetables, etc. Third is a poor sanitation and hygiene, that is wash issue, water, sanitation and hygiene issues. Here what happens is, when there is poor sanitation and hygiene, there is a high chances for the person to become infected with diseases. When a person is infected with diseases, again the nutrition absorption in the person declines. This again results in malnutrition. Another aspect is the inadequate maternal and child health care. During the pregnancy time, that is the maternal time, if the mother is not given adequate nutrition, it will result in low weight of child and also cause malnutrition in the future. Another aspect is poor awareness among people. For example, after the childbirth, the mothers are supposed to exclusively breastfeed the children for example, 6 months. There the awareness is lacking and they don't do it. This again leads to malnourishment among the children. Another important aspect is about the lack of nutrition awareness and education. Even among the people who have availability and accessibility to foods, there is a new issue coming of double burden of malnutrition in India. That is, we have both incidents of undernutrition as well as obesity. This is one of the major reasons is because of lack of nutrition awareness. Even households in India are not aware about balanced diet. We are more focused on processed foods. So these are the issue, one of the issues. Another aspect is gender inequality. Many times in many households, especially in rural households, women are the last person to eat, and they also in a way lead the east. That is, they consume very less. This even leads to chronic calorie insufficiency, chronic less calorie intake. So this also contributes to malnutrition in India. So we'll see the government initiatives in this regard. The first is the Poshan Abhiyan. It's an umbrella scheme, stands for Prime Minister's overarching scheme for holistic nutrition. It in a way converges various departments, for example, the women and child development, health, sanitation, etc. Next is the midday meal scheme. This under this scheme, the nutritious food is given to the children in government schools and government aided schools. Now another program is Anemia Booked Bharat. Here the focus is on preventing anemia, that is reducing the iron deficiency among the women and adult children. So here even the supplements are given. Then the food based schemes. We have the public distribution system where the food grains such as wheat, rice, sugar, even sugar are given at subsidized rate to the targeted population. We have the PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. This scheme was introduced during the COVID period to give food grains to the poor and migrant workers. We have important aspect of promoting millets. One of the important topic which can be asked in mains also as well as prelims. So Millets are also known as the nutri cereals or Sri Anna. They are highly climate resilient and also nutritionally dense. So this helps in combating malnutrition. Then under health and sanitation measures, we have the Swachh Bharat mission, a flagship mission of the government. It focuses on making the open defecation fees free. So this will help in improving the hygiene and sanitation aspects of the society and reduce the chances of becoming ill and even the spread of diseases. Second is the Jal Jeevan mission. It focuses on providing tap water connection to every household, ensuring that there is adequate clean and adequate water for the families. So these are the some measures which you can quote it under mains if they ask. Now we'll see a mains question with regard to this topic. It's a PYQ from 2024. It was asked in GS3. So the question is, explain the role of millets for ensuring health and nutritional security in India. So the question was for 10 marks, that is 150 words. So you have two parts, health and nutritional security. So you can introduce the answer by stating about millets. You can say that they are nutri cereals. They are called as Sri Anna, or you can also mention about the International Year of Millets of 2023, etc. Then you can address the main demand of the question. So the first one is health security. So you can talk about they have a low GI index, so it will be helping in managing the blood glucose. You can also help in addressing the type 2 diabetes, etc. Second, you can talk about they have high fiber content, so it helps in weight management, etc. Third, you can also talk about they are very good for heart health, so it reduces the cholesterol levels and all. Under next heading, that is nutritional security, you can talk about they are a good source of proteins. Second is they are also good source of micronutrients such as iron, zinc, etc. Third is it provides food security even during the adverse climate. For example, they are resilient to adverse climate such as droughts, etc. They require less water for cultivation. So it even provides food security to the vulnerable people. So these are the points you can mention under nutritional security. So after that, you can conclude in a positive way. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we will see about energy efficiency. So we'll first see the paradox of India's energy transition. So India has expanded renewable capacity rapidly. So the non-fossil fuels now account for about 50% of installed capacity. So this is the data from June 2025. Yet the grid emission factor, it rose from 0.703 in 2020-21 to 0.727 in 2023-2024 tons of CO2 equivalent per megawatt hour. So this grid emission factor measures the carbon intensity of electricity generation. So despite more renewables, India's grid has become more dirtier, indicating deeper structural issues. So the paradox is, in one hand, we are increasing the renewable capacity, but still the sector is not decarbonized. So that is the paradox. So there is an issue of capacity generation mismatch. So the renewable capacity does not all imply that electricity is delivered. For example, the reason is solar or wind operate at 15 to 25% of capacity utilization, whereas coal and nuclear power plants operate at 65 to 90%. So the renewables, including hydropower, supplied only 22% of total electricity in 2023 to 2024. That is, just because we have increased the capacity of renewables doesn't mean that the electricity generator will be commensurate with it. Reason is the renewable energy efficiency is about generation is about just 15 to 25% of its capacity compared to 65 to 90% of coal or nuclear plants. So demand peaks at nights when the renewables are least available, forcing coal plants to fill the gap. So what actually happens is, for example, there is high demand for electricity from domestic use at night, because at night many people will be switching, for example, they will be switching on their ACs. During that time, if you look at the renewable electricity production, for example, you take the example of solars. Solars will be at peak during the noon time, but during the night it will be at the minimum. To offset this electricity generation by the solar, we take the help of the coal power plants. Now again, since we are going to the coal power plants, the electricity produced is not as green as compared to the renewables. So what is required is expanding renewable capacity without flexibility leads to higher fossil fuel dependence, as we explained, as I explained just now. So what is it? There is a need for flexibility. So India must move from capacity addition to system flexibility. So what are the flexibilities included? It includes the round-the-clock renewables. It means that electricity generated from renewables are available 24/7. So it can be made through combination of electricity generated from combination of renewable sources. For example, solar, wind, hydro, and also it includes using batteries. So the storage units such as batteries, so that when there is less electricity generation, we can use the energy stored in the batteries. So they are already cost competitive, approximately 5 rupees per kilowatt hour. But the issues include land acquisition, transmission, and investment barriers. So what is required is flexibility through storage, demand management, and efficiency is essential for decarbonization. So it's an important term, decarbonization. Please check about its definition. You might also get a direct question in prelims with regard to definition of decarbonization. So we'll see the role of energy efficiency. So it's also called as the first fuel. So reduces demand before supply is generated, cutting emissions cost effectively. For example, in the previous case where we explained about demand peaking at night for electricity. So suppose you get a opportunity to reduce that demand itself. So you don't need to supply so much of electricity from the coal power plants. So one way is to reduce the demand. So it means it results in lowering peak load, reducing coal reliance during high emission hours. So what are the ways it can be done? It includes using energy efficient appliances such as fans, ACs, motors. We have this star rating appliances. So if we take higher star rating appliances, it will be more energy efficient. It will consume less electricity for the same output. Then other examples is using energy smart buildings and industries. So we can construct buildings in an energy efficient way. First is constructing the buildings itself in an energy efficient way, and second is incorporating energy efficient practices. For example, we can use natural cooling properties, painting using light colors instead of dark colors. These are the certain examples. So we'll see certain impacts and achievements by using this energy efficient method. So it's stated by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So it states that this is an important organization. This can be also asked in prelims with regard to it, questions with regard to it. So we have saved about 200 million tons of oil equivalent of final energy between the financial year of 2018 to 2023, and we have reduced about 1.229 gigatons of CO2 equivalent emissions, and there has also been economic savings of 7.6 lakh crore rupees. So it demonstrates that efficiency is diffuse but powerful. What it means is that, for example, this energy efficient appliances, for example, this energy efficient fans, these are per fan the savings of electricity will be less, and it will be scattered across many households. But when it comes together, the amount of energy saved will be huge. So that's what it means, that efficiency is diffuse but it is powerful. So we'll see the global context. The France, Norway, and Sweden have GEF of 0.1 to 0.2 tons of CO2 per megawatt hour due to hydro and nuclear dominance. And we have about 0.727, about 7 times. It shows that we must rely on efficiency and flexibility, not just on renewable to decarbonize. Now we'll see about what needs to be done. So first aspect is integrating the distributed storage. For example, we can integrate the batteries where they have been recharged by using the renewable energies. So the power from these batteries can be used during the high demand hours instead of using the power from the coal power plants during the high demand time. Second aspect is promoting appliances which have higher energy ratings. For example, the 4-star, 5-star ratings, we can promote those as appliances compared to the appliances which are low energy ratings. Third aspect is supporting SMEs to switch to newer machineries which are energy efficient. So generally, the small and medium enterprises in India are high energy consumers. One of the main reasons is they are using very old or outdated machinery which consumes huge energy. So we can provide them incentives such as credits or subsidies in switching over to newer modern equipments which are highly energy sufficient or efficient. Another aspect is implementing dynamic tariffs. For example, we can implement lower tariffs during less peak time or off peak hours. For example, during noon. So it will encourage consumers to use certain energy appliances such as washing machine, charging their EVs during those noon times where the rate is low, compared to the high demand times where the rate will be high. Another aspect is introducing scrappage incentives for inefficient equipment. Another thing we can do is we can enable the discounts to procure the electricity services instead of just procuring the electricity units. So discounts can procure the outcome based electricity services such as green cooling or green heating, etc. For this includes cooling using higher efficient ACs which run on renewable energy based electricity. So these are the certain things that can be done. So we'll see a PYQ. It's 2016 PYQ. So the question is, on which of the following can you find a Bureau of Energy Efficiency star label? So the options are ceiling fans, electric geysers, tubular fluorescent lamps. So actually it's all the three, and they are asked to select the correct answers. So the answer will be option D, 1, 2 and 3. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we'll be seeing about the paddy, that is rice. So paddy is the rice grain with the husk. So we'll get into this topic. So we'll see its overview. Its scientific name is Oryza sativa and it's in the family of Poaceae. Sorry for this pronunciation. So it's a staple food for more than half of India's population. It's an important one. So we'll see the factors for rice cultivation. So first, the temperature should be around 20 to 37 degrees Celsius throughout the period, and the rainfall should be between 100 to 200 centimeters. And it needs a clayey or loamy soils which is capable of retaining water. This is an important point. And it is cultivated mainly in lowlands and deltaic regions. So with regard to soil, we also need to know about different types of soil, three primary types of soil like sandy, clay, loamy, this one, and soil distribution in India, like where is black soil found, where is alluvial soil found, the types of alluvial soil, and also the crops which are grown in different types of soil. This we need to know from Prelims point of view. So with regard to any crop, these factors of cultivation is also very, very important. So the major season for rice growing is Kharif, and the major states are West Bengal, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and Assam. So these are the major and the minor areas of rice cultivation. So we can see the major areas include the Gangetic Basin. Then these are the delta regions of the rivers. So this map is taken from NCERT. So one of the reasons why NCERT is very, very important. So next we will see the state-wise production of rice share. So state-wise rice production share of 2023 to 2024. It's government data taken from the Unified Portal for Agriculture Statistics. Keep in mind this is a data for 2023 to 2024. This is not an update data. So you have a prelims after 6 months. So before a month or so, try to get the updated data. That's very, very important because this ranking might change. For example, if you see the first top is by Telangana, then you have Uttar Pradesh, then you have West Bengal, Punjab, etc. The difference between them is very small. So the rankings might change. So ensure that you are going with the up-to-date data from the government source. So next is the top producing countries. Here also there is a catch. So generally India was considered second and China was first. But this data is from the US website. It shows India as first and China as second because the difference is just 1%. So that's also ensure that when you go before the exam, you know the updated ranking. since the difference is very small. Third position is generally taken by the Bangladesh. So we'll see the cultivation practices of rice. The first one is the transplanting method. So here the paddy seeds are taken into nursery and seedlings are waited for seedlings to germinate. Then the seedlings are transplanted into the waterlog of farm area, that is the puddle area. So this as a process requires it is very labor intensive, and this requires huge water consumption and also uh, more methane emissions. Second is the direct seeding of rice. Here the seeds are paddy seeds are directly sown into the soil using seed drillers, mainly using seed drillers. Here the seeds are sown in either both dry or wet, that is the puddle conditions. Next is a system for rice intensification. This is also an important one, is previously asked in prelims also. So here it's a scientific way to manage both crop cultivation, water management, and even the manures, etc. Here also the seeds are made into seedlings, and they are sown into the field. That is, it can be both dry field or even the puddle field. Here the individual seeding is done instead of group one. And second thing is irrigation is done using alternate wet and dry conditions. It's not like completely flooded. So there is alternate you can say flooding. This is also this focuses on using organic manure instead of chemical fertilizers. So these are the important points with regard to system of rice intensification. These are the few methods of cultivation of rice. There are other methods also. Now we'll see a prelims PYQ with regard to it. So the question is, system of rice intensification of cultivation in which alternate wetting and drying of rice fields is practiced results in reduced seed requirement. Yes, this is correct. Reduced methane production. Yes, this is correct. Reduced electricity consumption. Yes, this is also correct. Select the correct answers using the code below. So the answer will be option D, 1213 only. So in this question, suppose you don't know what this system of rice intensification means, you can take a calculated guess. For example, they are introducing something new. So when you introduce something new, this should have some positive effects. So these three things, like reduced seed requirement, reduced methane production, and reduced electricity consumption, are the positive effects for it. So you can take a calculated guess as okay, all these three will be the effects of it. With that, you can take a calculated guess. So that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. In this article, we'll be seeing about the Finance Commission. So we'll see the constitutional basis for it. So it is established under the Article 280 of the Indian Constitution. So it's constituted by the President of India, and it's a quasi-judicial body. And its purpose is to recommend the distribution of financial resources between the union and the states. So all these points are very important. They can be asked as a direct statements in prelims, including the article number. So the President shall, within 2 years from the commencement of this Constitution and thereafter at the expiration of every 5th year or at such earlier time as the President considers necessary, by order constitute a Finance Commission. So the first Finance Commission came into existence on 22nd of November 1951, and its chairman was K.C. Nigoy. Sorry for the pronunciation if I made a mistake. So this statement is also important. They can also ask as a statement when they are asking question related to Finance Commission, when was the first Finance Commission established in prelims. So we'll see the composition. There is a chairman who heads the commission, and there are 4 other members. Even though these members are appointed by the President, and the qualifications are mentioned under the Finance Commission Act of 1951. So these are the 4 qualifications. The first is the person should be a judge or qualified to be a High Court judge. The person should be expert in finance or accountancy, and person with experience in financial administration, and the person with specialized knowledge of economics. So these are the qualifications mentioned under the Finance Commission Act. So with this also they can ask a question. They can twist it saying that it is mentioned in the Constitution. So you need to be careful whether they are mentioned, whether there are these conditions are mentioned in the Constitution or they are mentioned in the Act. So the functions, it's under the mentioned in the article 280 clause 3. So the distribution of net proceeds of taxes between the center and the states. This is the vertical devolution. and allocation of state shares among the states. This is known as a horizontal devolution. Next is the principles for granting aids to states from the Consolidated Fund of India, and also the measures to augment state consolidated funds to support panchayats and municipalities. This was added by the 73rd and 74th amendments, and any other matter referred by the President in the interest of sound finance. So, the 15th Finance Commission had recommended 41% tax devolution to states for the year 2021 to 2026. So, this is a tabular chart depicting the criteria for devolution of 14th Finance Commission and 15th Finance Commission. So, no need to read this in detail, because now we are having the 16th Finance Commission, which will be giving its recommendations very soon. So, when you get the recommendations of 16th Finance Commission, you will also probably get similar chart in the newspapers. Try to see which has the highest weightage and all. So, you can also expect a question like apart from income distance, which second highest weightage after the income distance, which criteria has. So, such questions can be asked. So, wait for the 16th Finance Commission recommendations. So, we will see about the 16th Finance Commission. So, the commission was formed on December 31st, 2023 with Arvind Panagaria as a chairman. So, it will recommend tax distribution between the center and the states for 2026 to 2031. This period is also important. The original deadline was 31st October 2025, but has been extended till November 30, 2025. So, apart from Finance Commission, we also need to know about the State Finance Commission and its function. So, that's also important. Please check about it. So, we'll see a UPSC PYQ of 2011. So, the question is, with reference to the Finance Commission of India, which of the following statement is correct? So, our statement is, it encourages the inflow of foreign capital for infrastructure development. No, this is incorrect. It facilitates the proper distribution of finances among the public sector undertakings. No, this is also incorrect. It ensures transparency in financial administration. This is also incorrect. So, the answer will be none of the statements A, B, C given above is correct in this concept. So, the answer will be option D. Another thing to note is the recommendations of Finance Commission are not binding. They are just recommendatory in nature. So, that's it for this topic. We'll move on to the next topic. Now, we will see the articles on the Prelims Focus. The first one is, Lucknow has been included in the UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. It was declared during the 43rd session of the UNESCO General Conference, currently underway in Uzbekistan. So, the global recognition celebrates the city's century-old Awadhi cuisine, living food traditions, and inclusive cultural heritage. So, UNESCO is important for both prelims and mains point of view. In prelims, you can expect direct questions with regard to UNESCO. For example, they might ask what kind of organization it is, etc. So, the next is the International Roundtable on Global Genomic Collaborations for Pandemic Preparedness. So, it is hosted by the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, and its title is Investigating and Translating Genomic Evidence for Public Health Response to SARS-CoV-2, that is Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome for Coronavirus 2. Its objective is to bring together leading researchers, science administrators, and institutional representatives from India and Italy, and to deliberate on the role of genomic evidence in strengthening global public health preparedness. So, next is the India Post Business Meet of 2025-26. It's a strategic gathering brought together heads of circles from across the country to deliberate on India Post evolving roadmap for business transformation and its expanding role as a premium logistics and citizen-centric service provider. It's conveyed by the Department of Post, Ministry of Communications. So, it's one thing important to notice: Department of Post comes under the Ministry of Communications, and its aim is to transform India Post into a large-scale, future-ready logistic organization driven by technology, innovation, and inclusivity. So, next is the MOU between NCA and IICM. That is a MOU. There has been an MOU between the National Communication Academy, which comes under the Department of Telecommunication, and the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. So, objective is to provide joint initiatives in capacity building, research, consulting, policy formulation, and training in emerging domains such as information and communication technologies, mobile communication, and cyberspace, and to strengthen human resource development in the telecommunication sector. So, we will see about the National Communications Academy. So, it's a training institution under the Department of Telecommunications. It's under the Ministry of Communications, and its objective is to engage in capacity building of officers or officials belonging to the ITS, that is Indian Trade Service, and next is Indian Radio Regulatory Service and cadres, and civil service, Indian Post and telecommunication, accounts, uh, and finance service, and to contribute to policy development and human resource capacity for India's digital growth. Now we will see a prelims PYQ with regard to this topic. So this PYQ was asked in 2022. The question is, in context of vaccines manufactured to prevent COVID-19 pandemic, consider the following statements. The Serum Institute of India produced COVID-19 vaccine named Covishield using mRNA platform. This is an important word. Here it's not mRNA platform but viral vector type. So statement 1 is incorrect. Sputnik V vaccine is manufactured using vector-based platform. Yes, this is correct. Covaxin is an inactivated pathogen-based vaccine. Yes, this is also correct. So they have asked to find the correct answers, correct statements. So the answer will be option B, 2 and 3 only. That's it for today's discussion. Hope you find this video helpful. Please give your valuable feedback and like this video and subscribe for regular updates. Thank you and have a great day.